Hello, welcome to a quick demonstration on a query and list timesheets API and the impact of an employee user in generating that API. So we have an API available to query your timesheets. So as an example is this one here, as what you can see is based on Postman. So I have read query, object timesheet, display all the fields, page size of 100 in there. And yep, so that's the API that I'm trying to call. So what you can see here, I've configured this one to be running through the use of an employee user. So it's not a business user, an employee user primarily. And let's generate the API first, the API session, just for us to see. So just wanting to check that, the API is actually a success. And before we proceed with that one, let's look at the timesheets available. So I have these timesheets available in this demo instance and this particular one for that employee user and one for the admin, basically. So using that, running the API using the credentials of the user or employee user, you may probably be encountering this error. So if I go back to this query and list timesheet, if I click on send here, you will notice that you have your error here called API operation read by query cannot be performed on objects of type timesheet. Right. So we know that an employee user only has access to his or own timesheets, but with API, you would be allowed to do that. So in order to circumvent this issue, what we need to do is that if you go to the role or permission on that user, if you're using user type, basically, but if you're using roles, then if you go to, aside from the permissions under projects or time and expenses, if applicable, you have your timesheet anywhere there, right? Those are permissions. But my timesheets or staff timesheets, you have those access in there, but you're still having that error. What you need to do is to go to General Ledger application or module and click on permissions and scroll down and have a look at this permission called drill down to all transactions from reports. If you enable that one there and save it and save it again. All right, and let's go back to the API call, and I would probably just restart the API session just to see if everything is still working at that level. Yep, it's still a success in there. And if we go to query and list timesheet, so again, using the credentials of the user, employee user with that role that we just edited earlier, and at the moment, earlier we had this error, right? So let's try to click on send and execute the API to query the timesheets. Yep, and you will see in here, status is success, and you have all these fields in there, all these timesheets being generated for us. And if we have a look again at this one here, let's look for 1053 as the employee ID through here. Yep, 1053 is there, begin date of 12/29. And yeah, let's look for the timesheet as well for that particular employee user having 1074 as the employee ID. And I'll just proceed and Control F there 1074. Yep, it's already here from 29th of December until 4th of January. So yep, hopefully this recording helps. Again, this is in regards to the possibility of querying all the timesheets available. And if you're using an employee user, having that error that we showed earlier, the way to resolve it is to edit the role or the permission of that user. And if you go to subscriptions in there, and yep, for the general ledger, click on permissions, you just have to enable that drill down to all transactions from reports permission. So we will not be encountering that error that we showed earlier called API operation read by query cannot be performed on objects of type timesheet. So hopefully this demonstration helps. Thank you.